what everybody talked about when we were in the playoffs last year of, we really didn't have much experience at all playing in playoff games. I don't know what the exact number was, but we really lacked in that area.
Indiana had a solid campaign last season, no doubt about it. But let's be real, Caitlin isn't wrong. Credit where it's due, the Fever clawed their way back to the playoffs after an 8-year drought. But when they finally got there, the Connecticut Sun handed them a 24-point beatdown they won't soon forget. And when they had a golden opportunity to steal Game 2...
For the lead! Short to follow! She kicks it out to Bonner!
As CC pointed out in the opening clip, a lack of leadership and playoff experience were the key reasons the Fever had to pack their bags for Cancun sooner than they'd hoped. The silver lining? They learned fast. After making a few strategic moves, Indiana didn't just go from being competitive, they transformed into a legit...
Say this just to catch a splashy headline, but this Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, I am ready to proclaim the Indiana Fever as your WNBA champ.
And that's exactly why I'm here today, guys. In this video, I'll be breaking down the Fever's key off-season signings and analyzing how they'll fit in alongside Caitlin and the rest of the squad. I don't want to jump the gun, but in my opinion, this revamped Fever team just sent a loud message to the entire WNBA. But before we dive into their major acquisitions, let's talk about one of the smartest moves Indiana made this offseason, retaining Kelsey Mitchell. As one of the team's top scorers last season, the Fever rewarded her with a well-deserved 1-year Supermax contract. Sure, some critics blamed her for Indiana's early playoff exit, but let's be real, Mitchell was a huge reason they even made it that far. She's a walking bucket, plain and simple. A 2-time All-Star, Mitchell has ranked in the WNBA's top 10 in scoring for 5 straight seasons. And last year? She set a franchise record by dropping 20 or more points in 7 consecutive games. Her ability to create her own shot from anywhere on the court makes her a nightmare to guard. This crafty lefty is built to get buckets.
Mitchell on the drive, splits the double team, throws the foul, gets it to go, an acrobatic finish.
Beyond her individual scoring prowess, Mitchell's chemistry with CC in the backcourt was absolutely lethal, smooth, effortless, and complimentary, like classic peanut butter and jelly.
Did a nice job to recover. It bounces inside, pretty fun.
Anyway, now that we've covered retaining Kelsey, let's move on to the Fever's biggest free agency splash of the offseason, the signing of Dana Bonner.
Bonner hesitation.
One of Indiana's biggest issues last season was the lack of a legitimate scoring threat on the wing. But with DB now in the mix, the Fever's offense gets a whole new dimension, because opposing teams won't just have to worry about CC and Kelsey anymore. Bonner's resume speaks for itself, a 2-time WNBA champion, 3-time 6th Woman of the Year, and 6-time All-Star. She's not just bringing elite talent to Indiana, she's bringing championship-level experience and a winning mentality every single night. Beyond her leadership, Bonner is a true two-way force. Her massive frame makes her a matchup nightmare on both ends of the floor. She ranks 4th all-time in scoring and averaged 15 points per game last season with the Sun, proving she can still get buckets at will. Just look at this play. After catching the rock, Bonner hit Angel Reese with a nasty crossover, dropping her before finishing with a smooth lefty layup. And thanks to her long limbs and high release, defenders can only watch as she rains down shots they have no chance of blocking. On the defensive end, Bonner's insane 7'4" wingspan is a game-changer. She can disrupt passing lanes with ease, rack up steals, and swat shots effortlessly. A beast in the low post and a reliable floor spacer, Natasha Howard adds yet another unique dimension to Indiana's offense. With her in the mix, the Fever don't just have a 3-headed scoring monster, they now boast a full-fledged 4-headed beast in their starting lineup. And man, isn't that a beautiful sight? Speaking of beautiful, Indiana also made another key free agency move by signing Sophie Cunningham. But don't let her looks fool you, this girl is as tough as they come. One of the fiercest and most relentless competitors in the league, Sophie brings an unmatched level of grit and energy every time she steps on the floor, especially on defense. A true 3-and-D specialist, leaving Sophie open beyond the arc is basically a death sentence. She's an absolute sniper from deep, capable of punishing teams that dare to give her space. With her toughness, shooting, and defensive tenacity, Cunningham is the perfect piece to round out this stacked Fever squad.
Low again with the saucy move.
On the defensive end, Sophie Cunningham is a versatile stopper, capable of guarding positions 1 through 4. Her toughness and grit are unmatched. She fights through screens, stays locked in on her assignments, and makes sure her opponents feel her presence every single possession. With these latest signings, the Fever have not only addressed their weaknesses from last season but have also stacked their roster with experience and leadership. To further solidify their young core, they brought in tested veterans like Sydney Colson and Brianna Turner. With Erica Wheeler departing for Seattle, Colson, a two-time WNBA champion, steps in as a steady floor general off the bench. While her stats might not always pop, her impact goes beyond the numbers. Just look at her performance against the Dallas Wings last season. She filled the stat sheet with 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and 2
has checked in for New York. Pushing Sophie out, she'll take the 3 and hit.
A beast in the low post and a reliable floor spacer, Natasha Howard adds yet another unique dimension to Indiana's offense. With her in the mix, the Fever don't just have a 3-headed scoring monster, they now boast a full-fledged 4-headed beast in their starting lineup. And man, isn't that a beautiful sight? Speaking of beautiful, Indiana also made another key free agency move by signing Sophie Cunningham. But don't let her looks fool you, this girl is as tough as they come. One of the fiercest and most relentless competitors in the league, Sophie brings an unmatched level of grit and energy every time she steps on the floor, especially on defense. A true 3-and-D specialist, leaving Sophie open beyond the arc is basically a death sentence. She's an absolute sniper from deep, capable of punishing teams that dare to give her space. With her toughness, shooting, and defensive tenacity, Cunningham is the perfect piece to round out